KBRD takes pleasure in bringing you Suspense. Suspense, Columbia's parade of outstanding thrillers. The notable melodramas from stage and screen, fiction and radio, presented each week to bring you to the edge of your chair, to bring you to Suspense. The Mercury Theater presented tonight's radio play for the first time in 1941. It was hailed right away as a classic of the medium. It was written by Louise Fletcher, who at the time was married to composer Bernard Herrmann, who scored films for Hitchcock among many other giants of screen and radio. Personally, I've never met anybody who didn't like a good ghost story. A story doesn't have to just appeal to the heart. It can also appeal to the spine. Sometimes you want your heart to be warmed, and sometimes you want your spine to tingle. The tingling, it's to be hoped, will be quite audible as you listen tonight to The Hitchhiker. That's the name of our story, The Hitchhiker.
In an auto camp on Route 66, just west of Gallup, New Mexico. If I tell it, perhaps it'll help me, keep me from going crazy. I gotta tell this quickly. I'm not crazy now. I feel perfectly well, except that I'm running a slight temperature. My name is Ronald Adams. I'm 36 years of age, unmarried, tall, dark with a black mustache. I drive a 1940 Buick, license number 6Y175189. I was born in Brooklyn. All this I know. I know that I'm at this moment perfectly sane. That it's not me who's gone mad, but something else. Something utterly beyond my control. I've got to speak quickly. At any minute, the link may break. This might be the last thing I ever tell on Earth. The last night I ever see the stars. Six days ago, I left Brooklyn to drive to California.
Goodbye, my son. Good luck to you, my boy.
Goodbye, Mother. Here, give me a kiss. Then I'll go.
I'll come out with you to the car.
Oh no, it's raining. Stay here at the door. Hey, what's this? Tears? I thought you promised me you wouldn't cry.
Oh, I know, dear. I'm sorry, but I do hate to see you go.
Mother, I'll be back. I'll only be on the coast 3 months.
No, it isn't that. It's just the trip. Ronald, I wish you weren't driving.
Oh, Mother, there you go again. People do it every day.
I know, but you'll be careful, won't you? Promise me you'll be extra careful. Don't fall asleep or drive fast or pick up any strangers on the road.
Gosh, you'd think I was still 17 to hear you talk.
And wire me as soon as you get to Hollywood.
Of course.
Won't you, son?
Of course I will. Don't you worry. There isn't anything going to happen. It's just 8 days of perfectly simple driving on smooth, decent, civilized roads with a hot dog or a hamburger stand every 10 miles. I was in fine spirits. The drive ahead of me, even the loneliness, seemed like a lark. But I reckoned without him. Crossing Brooklyn Bridge that morning in the rain, I saw a man leaning against the cables. He seemed to be waiting for a lift. There were spots of fresh rain on his shoulders. He was carrying a cheap overnight bag in one hand. He was thin, nondescript, with a cap pulled down over his eyes. I would have forgotten about him completely, except that just an hour later, while crossing the Pulaski Skyway over the Jersey Flats, I saw him again. At least, he looked like the same person. He was standing now with one thumb pointing west. I couldn't figure out how he had gotten there, but I thought probably one of those fast trucks had picked him up, beating me to the Skyway and let him off. I didn't stop for him. Then, late that night, I saw him again. It was on the new Pennsylvania Turnpike between Harrisburg and Pittsburgh. It's 265 miles long with a very high speed limit. I was just slowing down for one of the tunnels when I saw him standing under an arc light by the side of the road. I could see him quite distinctly. The bag, the cap, even the fresh spots of rain spattered over his shoulders. He hallooed at me this time.
Hello! Hello!
I stepped on the gas like a shot. It's lonely country through the Alleghenies, and I had no intention of stopping. Besides, the coincidences, or whatever it was, gave me the willies. I stopped at the next gas station.
Yes, sir.
Fill her up.
Certainly, sir. Check your oil, sir.
No thanks.
Nice night, isn't it?
Yes, it hasn't been raining here recently, has it?
Nah, not a drop all week.
Oh? I suppose that hasn't done your business any harm?
Yeah, people drive through here in all kinds of weather. Mostly business, you know. There aren't that many pleasure cars out there on the turnpike this time of year.
I suppose not. What about hitchhikers?
Hitchhikers? Here?
What's the matter? Don't you ever see any?
Yeah, not much. If we did, that'd be a sight for sore eyes, I tell you.
Why?
Guy would be a fool who started out to hitch rides on this road. I mean, look at it.
Then you've never seen anybody.
Nah, maybe they get the lift before the turnpike starts, you know? I mean, just before the toll house. But then that'd be a mighty long ride. Most cars wouldn't want to give a guy a ride that long. And you know, this is pretty lonesome country here. Mountains, woods, whatnot. You ain't seen anybody like that, have you?
Oh, no, not at all. I was just, it was a technical question.
Oh, I see. Well, that'll just be $1.49 and all with tax.
The thing gradually passed through my mind as sheer coincidence. I had a good night's sleep in Pittsburgh. I didn't think about the man all next day until just outside of Zanesville, Ohio. I saw him again. It was a bright, sunshiny afternoon. The peaceful Ohio fields, brown with the autumn stubble, lay dreaming in the golden light, and I was driving slowly, drinking it in, when the road suddenly ended in a detour. In front of the barrier, he was standing. Let me explain about his appearance before I go on. There was nothing sinister about him. He was as drab as a mud fence, nor was his attitude menacing. He merely stood there, waiting, almost drooping a little, the cheap overnight bag in his hand. He looked as though he'd been waiting for hours. And he looked up. He hailed me. He started to walk forward.
Hello! Hello! Hello!
No, not just now. Sorry.
Going to California?
No, not today. The other way, going to New York. Sorry. After I got the car back on the road again, I felt like a fool. Yet the thought of picking him up, of having him sit beside me, was somehow unbearable. At the same time, I felt, more than ever, unspeakably alone. Hour after hour went by. The fields, the towns, ticked off one by one. The light changed. I knew now that I was going to see him again. And though I dreaded the sight, I caught myself searching the side of the road, waiting for him to appear.
Yeah, what is it? What do you want?
You sell sandwiches and pop here, don't you?
Yeah, we do in the daytime, but we're closed up now for night.
I know, but I was wondering if you could just possibly let me have a cup of coffee? Black coffee?
No, not this time of night, mister. My wife's the cook. She's in bed.
No, don't shut the door, please. Listen, just a minute ago, there was a man standing here, right beside this stand. A suspicious-looking man. I don't mean to disturb you. You see, I was driving along when I just happened to look, and there he was.
What was he doing?
Well, nothing.
Yeah, well, you've been taking a nip. That's what you've been doing. Now on your way before I call Sheriff Oakes.
I got into the car again and drove on, slowly. I was beginning to hate the car. If I could have found a place to stop, to rest a little. I was in the Ozark Mountains of Missouri now. The few resort places there were closed. Only an occasional log cabin, seemingly deserted. That's all that broke the monotony of this wild, wooded landscape. I had seen him at that roadside stand. I knew I'd see him again, maybe at the next turn of the road. I knew that when I saw him next, I would run him down. But I didn't see him again. I didn't see him until late next afternoon. I'd stopped the car at a sleepy little junction just across the border into Oklahoma to let a train pass by, when he appeared across the tracks, leaning against a telephone pole. A perfectly airless, dry day. The red clay of Oklahoma was baking under the southwestern sun, yet there were still spots of fresh rain on his shoulders. I couldn't stand that. Without thinking, blindly, I started the car across the tracks. He didn't even look up at me. He was staring at the ground. I stepped on the gas hard, veering the wheel sharply towards him. I could hear the train in the distance now, but I didn't care. Then, something went wrong with the car. It stalled right on the tracks. The train was coming closer. I could hear its bell ringing and the cry of its whistle. Still, he stood there. Now I knew he was beckoning me to my death. The car suddenly started and, well, I frustrated him that time. The starter worked at last. I managed to get back up. When the train passed, he was gone. I was all alone in the hot, dry afternoon. After that, I knew I had to do something. I didn't know who this man was or what he wanted of me. I only knew that from now on, I mustn't let myself alone on the road for 1 minute. Hello there. Like a ride?
Well, what do you think? It's just been me and the cows for the last half hour. How far are you going?
Where do you want to go?
Amarillo, Texas.
I'll drive you there.
Gee. You mind if I take off my shoes? My dogs are killing me.
Go right ahead.
Oh, gee, what a break this is.
Hitchhike much?
Sure. Only it's tough sometimes in these great open spaces to get the breaks.
Yeah, I should think it would be. Though I'll bet you get a good pickup in a fast car. If you did, you could get places faster than, say, another person in another car, couldn't you?
I don't get you.
Well, take me for instance. Suppose I'm driving across the country, say at a nice steady clip, about 45 miles an hour. Couldn't a girl like you, just standing beside the road waiting for a lift, beat me to town, or any town, provided she got picked up every time in a car doing from 65 to 70 miles an hour?
I don't know. What difference does it make?
Oh, no difference. It's just a crazy idea I had sitting here in the car.
Oh, imagine spending your time in a swell car thinking of things like that.
What would you do instead?
What would I do? If I was a good-looking fella like yourself, I'd just enjoy myself every minute of the time. I'd sit back and relax. And if I saw a good-looking girl along the side of the road, hey, look out!
Did you see him too?
See who?
That man standing by the barbed wire fence.
I didn't see anybody. It was nothing but a bunch of cows and the wire fence.
No?
What did you think you was doing trying to run into that barbed wire fence?
There was a man there, I tell you. A thin gray man with an overnight bag in his hand. And I was trying to run him down.
Run him down? You mean kill him?
You say you didn't see him back there? Are you sure?
I didn't see a soul, and as far as that's concerned...
Watch for him next time. Keep watching. Keep your eyes peeled on the road. He'll turn up again. Maybe any minute now. There! Look there!
How does this door work? I'm getting out of here.
Did you see him that time?
No, I didn't see him that time. And personally, mister, I don't expect never to see him. All I want to do is go on living. I don't see how I will very long driving with you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me. Please, don't go.
So if you'll excuse me...
You can't go. Listen, how would you like to go to California? I'll drive you to California.
Seeing pink elephants all the way? No, thanks. Thanks just the same.
Listen, please, just 1 minute, please.
You know what I think you need, big boy? Not a girlfriend, just a good dose of sleep.
Please.
There, I got it now.
Now you can't go, please.
Leave your hands off of me, do you hear? Leave your hands off of me.
She ran from me, as though I were a monster. A few minutes later, I saw a passing truck pick her up. I knew then that I was utterly alone. I was in the heart of the great Texas prairies. There wasn't a car on the road after the truck went by. I tried to figure out what to do, how to get a hold of myself. If I could find a place to rest, or even if I could sleep right here in the car for a few hours along the side of the road. I was getting my winter overcoat out of the back seat to use as a blanket when I saw him coming toward me, emerging from the herd of moving steer.
Hello! Hello!
Maybe I should have spoken to him then, fought it out, then and there. For now, he began to be everywhere. Everywhere I stopped, even for a moment. For gas, for oil, for a drink of pop, a cup of coffee, a sandwich. He was there. I saw him standing outside the auto camp in Amarillo that night when I dared to slow down. He was sitting near the drinking fountain of a little camping spot just inside the border of New Mexico. He was waiting for me outside the Navajo reservation where I stopped to check my tires. I saw him in Albuquerque when I bought 20 gallons of gas. I was afraid to stop now. I began to drive faster and faster. I was in a lunar landscape now. The great arid mesa country of New Mexico. I drove through it with the indifference of a fly crawling over the face of the moon. Now he didn't even wait for me to stop. Unless I drove at 85 miles an hour over these endless roads, he waited for me at every other mile. I'd see his figure, shadowless, flitting before me, still in its same attitude, over the cold, lifeless ground. flitting over dried up rivers, over broken stones cast up by old glacial upheavals, flitting in that pure, cloudless air. I was beside myself when I finally reached Gallup, New Mexico this morning. There's an auto camp here. Cold, almost deserted this time of year. I went inside and asked if there was a telephone. I had the feeling that if only I could speak to someone familiar, someone I loved, I could pull myself together.
Your call, please.
Long distance.
Long distance, certainly.
This is long distance.
I'd like to put in a call to my home to Brooklyn, New York. I'm Ronald Adams. The number is Beechwood 20828.
Certainly. I'll try to get it for you.
Albuquerque.
New York for Gallup.
New York.
Gallup, New Mexico, calling Beechwood 20828.
I'd read somewhere that love could banish demons. It was in the middle of the morning. I knew Mother'd be home. I pictured her tall and white-haired in her crisp house dress going about her tasks. It'd be enough, I thought, just to hear the even calmness of her voice.
Will you please deposit $3.85 for the first 3 minutes? When you've deposited $1.50, will you wait until I've collected the money? All right, deposit another $1.50. Will you please deposit the remaining 85 cents? Ready with Brooklyn. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Mrs. Adams' residence.
Hello? Hello, Mother?
This is Mrs. Adams' residence. Who is it you wish to speak to, please?
Who's this?
This is Mrs. Winnie.
Mrs. Winnie? I don't know any Mrs. Winnie. Is this Beechwood 20828?
Yes.
What? Where's my mother? Where's Mrs. Adams?
Mrs. Adams is not at home. She's still in the hospital.
The hospital?
Yes. Who is this calling, please? Is it a member of the family?
What's she in the hospital for?
She's been prostrated for 5 days. Nervous breakdown. But who was this calling?
Nervous breakdown? Well, my mother was never nervous.
It's all taken place since the death of her oldest son, Ronald.
Death of her oldest son, Ronald. Hey, what is this? What number is this?
This is Beechwood 20828. It's all been very sudden. He was killed just 6 days ago in an automobile accident on the Brooklyn Bridge.
Your 3 minutes are up, sir. Your 3 minutes are up, sir. Your 3 minutes are up, sir.
And so, I'm sitting here in this deserted auto camp in Gallup, New Mexico. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to get a hold of myself. Otherwise, I'm going to go crazy. Outside, it's night. The vast, soulless night of New Mexico. 1,000,000 stars are in the sky. Ahead of me stretch 1,000 miles of empty mesa. Mountains, prairies, desert. Somewhere among them, he's waiting for me. Somewhere I shall know who he is and who I am.
Suspense. The Hitchhiker was produced by Dana Leach and directed by Helen Borgers. Tonight's engineer was Tony Thrasher and Darius Batiste. LBSC Technical Director is Richard Lindsay. The music was performed by Joshua Bartlett. The horror series theme was composed by Edmund Velasco. The live sound effects were performed by Christopher Durbin and Samantha Salas. Featured in the cast were Grant Patricio as Ronald Adams, Brandy Eves and Lauren Holliday as the telephone operators, Beverly Oliver as Mrs. Adams and Mrs. Winnie, Christopher Durbin as the hitchhiker, gas station attendant, and storekeeper, Lauren Holliday as the female hitchhiker. I'm Brandy Eves. This is the LBSC Audio Theater on the web, KBRD. We will now take a 10-minute intermission and then present Bradbury's Zero Hour.
And now, tonight's presentation of radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense. Tonight, Suspense brings you one of the most controversial plays ever presented over your radio. It is called Zero Hour by Ray Bradbury. What a game. Such excitement they hadn't known in years. Mink talked earnestly to someone near the rose bush, though no one was there. Then the two little girls, shouting, laughing at each other. Such fun, such tremulous joy. Mink ran into the house all dirt and sweat. For her few years she was loud and strong and definite. And her mother, Mrs. Morris, peeling vegetables at the sink, watched with amusement as her daughter threw in a sack old pots and tools and other things which were relegated to child's play.
My goodness, Mink, what's going on?
Oh, the most exciting game ever. Just ever.
Oh?
It's all right I take these, Mom?
Just don't dent them and it's all right.
Thanks, Mom. We won't. Bye.
All right, dear. Oh, what's the name of the game, dear?
Invasion.
Invasion?
Invasion. And in the garden, now a serious concentration. Mink with an assortment of pots, pans, and wrenches, forks, spoons, and her friend Anna, a little younger, tongue in teeth, taking notes on a pad.
This, and this. What's it say next?
Wait a minute, Mink.
Well, hurry up.
4, 9, 7, A and B and X.
4, 9, 7, A and B and X.
A fork and a string and a hexagonal.
A fork and a string and a hexagonal. What do we do next, Mr. Drill?
Now Mink talks to the rosebush again, and to her own satisfaction at least, receiving some kind of an answer, she relays it to Anna.
Triangle. How do you spell it?
Oh, any old way. Doesn't matter. Now write beam.
I haven't gotten triangle yet.
Well, hurry. 0 hours, 5 o'clock. We haven't got all day.
Then time out from invasion for lunch. Mink bolted down the soup and, coincidentally, crammed a sandwich into her mouth.
Now, you slow down, Mink. Whatever's waiting will wait a few minutes longer.
But I can't. Drill's waiting for me.
Drill? That's a peculiar name. Is he a new boy in the neighborhood, dear?
He's new, all right.
Well, I don't think I've seen him. Which one is Drill?
Oh, he's just around. You'll make fun. Everybody makes fun. All the kids do.
Well, I don't think that's very nice. Is Drill shy?
Yes, in a way. I don't know. I gotta go now, Mom, if we're gonna have the invasion.
Now, you finish your milk, miss. Who's invading what?
Martians invading Earth from up there.
Oh, I see. And, Drill's a Martian?
I think so. He's had a very hard time getting here.
I should imagine.
They couldn't figure out a way to attack Earth, how to get in or something. And Drill says they have to do it by surprise and even get help from your enemy.
Oh, a fifth column, huh?
Uh-huh. And all this time, they haven't been able to figure out how to attack children. Or attack until one day they thought of children.
Well, that was bright of them.
And they thought of how grown-ups are so busy, they never look under rose bushes or on lawns.
Oh, that's where Drill is now, under the rose bush.
Uh-huh. With all his friends, too. There's something about kids under 11 with imagination. It's real funny to hear Drill talk.
Well, it must be. You better run along if you want to have your invasion before dark. Oh, and bath tonight. School tomorrow, you know.
Drill says I won't have to take any more baths.
Oh, he does he?
And we can stay up until 10 o'clock.
Well, your friend, Mr. Drill, had better mind his P's and Q's, or I'm going to call up his mother and...
That's just it. Drill says you're dangerous because you don't believe in Martians. Just like you think Drill's a kid. Well, he's not. And they're gonna let us run the world when they get in. All of us kids. And I might even be queen.
Well, that's nice, dear. Now run along.
Mom?
What is it, dear?
Mom, when the invasion comes, we'll have to get rid of you and Daddy. But I'll be sure it won't hurt very much.
Well, thanks. Thanks a lot. Hello?
Hello, Mary. How are things in New York?
Oh, Helen, how nice. Are you in town?
Oh, no. I'm in Danbury. I was just thinking of you and thought I'd call.
Oh, it's long distance, though. You shouldn't.
Oh, I can afford 3 minutes. How's Henry?
Oh, fine. And Bill?
Oh, just fine. What about Mink?
Oh, wonderful. Noisier than ever. Oh, she's got a new game now. It's taken the place of hopscotch. Invasion.
Is she playing that too?
Well, yes. Are yours?
Same thing. Some kind of geometric jacks, I suppose. Isn't it a scream? You know all the kids their age are playing it up here. Timmy's got a crush on some guy named Drill. I think that's what it is.
Oh, it must be a new password. Mink likes him too.
Oh, I didn't know it had gotten to New York. Word of mouth, I suppose. You know kids. Funniest thing, I got a letter from my sister in Boston. She says her kids are playing it too. It's just sweeping the country.
Well, I wonder where they learned it.
Oh, don't ask me. All I know is what Timmy tells me at lunch. 0 hours at 5 o'clock.
When?
Today. That's when the invasion is going to be. Oh, these kids and their imaginations.
I know, it's just... But you know...
And they talked a little more. Schoolgirl friends, a casual woman talk. But Mrs. Morris was thoughtful. She was thinking of other things. Of adults, of children with imagination, rose bushes, dimensions. She thought about how much she had forgotten about being a child. And she wondered about Mink and all the kids who were at this moment playing Invasion.
Well, I'm so glad you called.
Give my love to Henry, and a kiss for Mink.
I will, and to Bill and the kids.
Thanks. Bye.
Goodbye.
An hour drowsed by. It was 3 o'clock. There was an occasional hum inside the coolness of the house, as a car passed outside. The street was lined with good, green, and peaceful trees, and all across the city, in other gardens and other places, children under 11 were excitedly playing a game, talking to rose bushes and grass lawns, trees, shrubs, even children in apartment houses, high in the air, conferring with potted plants, cactus, and ivy. Mrs. Morris finished her housework and went to the kitchen.
Oh, hello, dear.
Hi, Mom. Can I have a glass of water?
Of course, I'll get it.
Pi r squared. 0.7 a over 56 to the 7th degree. X t 7.
What, dear?
Oh, nothing, Mom.
Oh, here you are.
Thanks.
How are things going?
Huh?
The invasion?
Oh, that.
Yes, that.
Almost finished. When everything's right, Joel says we should be ready on time.
5 o'clock?
That's right. How'd you know?
Helen called me from Danbury. She says that Timmy's playing it too.
Hey, that's keen.
I guess all the kids are, aren't they?
No, not all of them. Not guys like Jimmy Wood and Bob Wilson. They're growing up and they make fun of us. They're worse than parents. They just won't believe in drill. They're so smart just because they're growing up. You'd think they'd know better. They were little only a couple years ago. We'll get rid of them first. Drill says it's okay to kill them first.
Now, Mink, I don't like that kind of talk. Do you hear me? I don't like it at all.
Oh, Mom.
Now, I mean it. You keep on that way and there'll be no more playing. You'll have to tell Anna to go home and you'll stay inside until bedtime.
I'm sorry.
Well, I should think so.
Thanks for the water, Mom.
Mink,
Yes, Mom?
what did those numbers mean?
What numbers?
Those numbers you were saying to yourself before?
Oh, that. They're the things we have to do to get Drill and his friends out. That's all.
Look, dear, why don't you and Anna go down to the drugstore and get some ice cream? You don't even have to use your allowance. I'll pay for it.
Haven't got time, Mom. Thanks.
Well, I'd never believed I'd hear you say that.
I gotta go now, Mom.
Wait a minute, Mink. I want you to tell me the truth. What is this invasion silliness?
It isn't silly. It's just a game. That's all. Mom, we're just playing an invasion. Excuse me, I gotta get back now. I'll see you later.
It was a game called Invasion. Mrs. Morris's little girl, Mink, was playing it. So was Mink's friend Anna, and all the other children under 11. It was called Invasion, and 0 hour was to be at 5 o'clock. Mrs. Morris was disturbed. She wasn't sure why, but there was something about parents shutting ears and eyes to what was happening. And because she was disturbed, she did something she didn't usually do. She called her husband at the office.
Hello, dear.
Oh, hello, Henry. I'm sorry to bother you, but Miss Maxon said you weren't busy.
Not too busy. I should be able to get home early today. Everything all right?
Yes.
You all right?
I'm fine.
Mink?
Oh, she's... Henry?
What?
Oh, nothing. I just wanted to talk to you for a minute, that's all.
Listen, are you sure everything's all right?
Yes.
Mink been getting on your nerves?
Not really.
Well, you tell her to behave, or when I get home, her and I are going to have a talk. As a matter of fact, she's been acting a little fresh lately, and I don't think it's good.
Well, she's playing outside. She's fine.
Honey, is something wrong?
Why, no, I told you. I was thinking about you and wanted to talk, that's all. Nothing wrong with that.
Not a thing.
You go back to your work, dear. I'll see you soon.
All right.
What time do you think you'll be home?
About 5, maybe a little earlier.
5? Oh.
Hey, come on, what's going on?
Well, I was just thinking, nothing, really, just Mink and you and me. Goodbye, dear.
You're okay, aren't you?
Yes, I'm fine. Goodbye.
All right, well, goodbye.
Another hour passed, and it was 4:30. The day began to wane. The sun lowered in a peaceful blue sky. Shadows lengthened on the green lawn. Outside, it was quiet. the two little girls more intent than ever upon their endless movement of design and pattern with the implements before them. Mrs. Morris watched from the window, and she had never known Mink to have such powers of concentration. She had turned on the radio and sat drinking a cup of coffee and turned over her thoughts.
Children, children, children. Love and hate side by side. Sometimes children love you, hate you, all in half a second. Strange children. Do they ever forget or forgive the whippings and the harsh, strict words of command? I wonder. How can you forget or forgive those over and above you? Those tall, silly dictators, those parents.
Mom!
Oh, what is it, dear?
Have you got a piece of lead pipe and a hammer?
Well, I don't know. There might be in the garage. What do you want them for?
We just need them.
Well, if you tell me what for, dear, maybe I can...
I can get them. Thanks, Mom.
Is something wrong?
Joe's stuck halfway, and if we can get him all the way through, it'd be easier. Then all the others can come through after him.
Well, can I help?
Thanks, Mom. I can fix it.
You'd better get through, Mink. I want you to take your bath before your father comes home.
All right.
Now, he's coming home early, and Mink...
Mink had disappeared behind the shrubs, and Mrs. Morris knew it was ridiculous to make an issue of it. Besides, what was the issue? Invasion? Drill? 0 hour? Unaccountably, a cool breeze came up, and although normally, for that time of year, it would have been seen as a relief, Mrs. Morris felt a chill. She closed the window. Time passed. A curious, waiting silence came upon the street, deepening. Then, from the living room, Mrs. Morris heard... "5 o'clock, 0 hour. It had come, and now it had gone. But was the clock right? Mrs. Morris, knowing how foolish it was, went to the phone and dialed.
Oh, silly. It's silly.
When you hear the tone, the time will be exactly 4:54 and 20 seconds.
4:54 and 20 seconds, and Mrs. Morris knew it wasn't as silly as she thought, because it wasn't 5 o'clock yet. Not 0 hour yet. Then the car drove up into the driveway.
Hi, Mink. How's it going? Hi, Anna.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, Mr. Morris.
Everything's fine.
Got a kiss for your old man?
Haven't got time now, Daddy.
Well, that's not a nice thing. What are you doing?
We're playing Invasion.
Oh, swell. Your mother in the house?
Uh-huh.
Okay, good. Well, you be good.
I will. 0 hour in a few minutes, Daddy.
All right, well, I'll be ready.
Mrs. Morris heard him chuckle, then his steps up the walk to the front door.
Hey, Mary.
I'm in the living room, dear.
Oh, hi. Well, our daughter didn't have a kiss for me. How about you?
Hard day?
Not particularly.
Would you like a cocktail?
You read my mind.
Martini?
Perfect. Anything exciting happen today?
No. Oh, well, Helen called from Danbury. I told her she was crazy, but she just felt like calling.
Like you calling me this afternoon. Crazy, huh? Hey, what was that all about?
Well, I told you. I just wanted to.
Hey, incidentally, what's this new game the kids are playing? Invasion. That's a nice, depressing thought. Is she all right? Come to think of it, she looked kind of, I don't know, funny.
She's all right. What's the time, Henry?
A couple minutes after 5. Why?
No, the clock's wrong. By your watch.
Oh, I've got 2 minutes too. I'm probably a little slow. You got something on the stove?
No, I just wondered.
Honey, hey, look at me. What's the matter?
Nothing, really.
Now?
Really.
Mink's been get up to something?
No, of course not.
Then what?
I guess I'm a little tired, upset, that's all.
You want to go out for dinner?
Oh, no, I've got a steak here.
I'll tell you what, I'll barbecue. How'd that be?
Oh, fine. What was that?
What?
Well, I thought I heard something.
Well, I didn't.
I must have been imagining it.
Hey, you're a little jumpy. You know what? Why don't you have a drink? It'll do you some good.
No, I don't want one. What's the time?
Mary, what is this? Now, I mean it. Something's wrong and I want to know.
Oh, it's silly. It's so silly. I'm
Mary-
on edge, that's all.
Mary?
I am.
I don't like this. That kid's done something, hasn't she? I'm gonna get her in here.
No, Henry, please. She hasn't. It's nothing at all.
What's that?
I don't know.
Those kids haven't got anything dangerous out there, have they? I notice a lot of junk laying around.
I thought it was a game, and she wouldn't have done it herself. And they made her do it.
What the devil?
Maybe you better go out and tell her to stop playing now. It's after 5. You tell Mink to put off that invasion until tomorrow.
It's coming from outside. What are they up to? I better take a look. Mink! Mink! Good Lord!
Oh, God!
Bombs! Bombs! They're bombing out there!
No, it's upstairs. I know it is. In the attic. That's where it is.
Mary, it's not up there.
He ran after her, confused, not a little frightened. She seemed to know something.
In the attic!
Her mind had worked that quickly. Any excuse to get him away from the outside, to get him upstairs into the attic in time. And outside, there were more explosions. And they could hear the children screaming with delight.
It's not in the attic, it's outside. Mink's out there. What's the matter with you?
No, I'll show you. Hurry. Get inside, quick. Now we're safe until the night.
Are you crazy? Why'd you throw the key away?
Maybe we can sneak out later.
For heaven's sakes! The kids are out there. Do you want her to get killed?
No, you don't know. You don't. We've got to stay here. We've got to. It's horrible. We've got to. You've got to stay here with me.
Well, at this point, I don't know how the devil I can get out. Where's that light?
Be quiet, please. Be quiet. They'll hear us. They'll find us, Henry, please.
Well, who's gonna answer the phone? There's that noise again. Oh my God, it's in the house. Mary, what is this? Mary, what's happening now? You know now, just answer me. Stop it, Mary, just stop it. Somebody's downstairs. Hey, who's down there? Who is down there?
No. Hush, please be quiet. They might go away. Please.
Between his wife's terror and the electric humming from below, Mr. Morris felt a great fear. They trembled together in silence in the attic. Mr. and Mrs. Morris, parents of a little girl. Then they heard steps coming up the stairs, and a voice.
Mommy, Daddy, where are you?
And a queer, cold light became visible under the door crack. The strange odor and the alien sound of eagerness in Mink's voice was almost more than they could bear. Each wanted to scream.
Mommy, Daddy.
And another sound. And the attic lock melted. Mink with bright little eyes and tousled hair peered inside, and behind her, tall, wavering blue shadows. Frightful shadows.
Peekaboo.
Zero Hour was produced by Dana Leach and directed by Helen Borgers. Tonight's engineers were Tony Thrasher and Darius Batiste. LBSC Technical Director is Richard Lindsay. The music was performed by Joshua Bartlett. The horror series theme was composed by Edmund Velasco. The live sound effects were performed by Christopher Durbin, Brandy Eves, and Lauren Holiday. Featured in the cast were Samantha Salas as Mink, Lauren Holiday as Mary, Brandy Eves as Anna and Helen, Christopher Durbin as Henry, and Beverly Oliver as the time telephone operator. I am Grant Patrizio. This is LBSC Audio Theater on the web. Please join us next weekend for Dracula.